Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn from executive session, please?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned, and we will start our regular session. If we could come to order, that would be appreciated. I'll wait. Thank you. Appreciate it. And we will now have the roll call.
Mr. Smith,
Here.
Ms. Franklin,
Here.
Ms. French,
Here.
Mr. Prethridge,
Yep, here.
Mr. Bracken,
Here.
Mayor Snavely.
Here. Okay, at this time, we'll have a pledge of allegiance. If you would like, you may join us. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda's approved, and we will move to public participation, and we have one of the highlights of our year is the swearing in of Lieutenant Adam Price, and John Jones, our chief, will lead us forward on that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I have the honor tonight to do something that's pretty rare to do in OPD history. So don't normally do a PowerPoint, but I thought I would share some stuff from over the years. This will help me stay on track too. So tonight we're going to swear in after a very difficult process of selection process. Adam Price, he's going to get sworn in to the position of police lieutenant. So just to talk a little bit about that, it's been 9 years since we've had this type of promotion. 9 years ago when Lieutenant Finning, Lieutenant Robinson were promoted into that position. And there's only been 6 other people who've held that position in the last 30 years. So it's not something that we do very often here, which I think is what makes it very special. It's a key member of the command staff, and obviously will guide the department, and it's kind of a culture-changing potential position in our division. So with that, I'll talk a little bit about Adam, and you can see up here when he was originally sworn in. He was hired by Chief Schwein in 2006, and sworn in by Law Director Steve McHugh. So Adam, if you want to come up here. Yeah. You can, maybe looks a little more youthful back then. Yeah. So 19 years ago, Adam was sworn in at the city manager's office in the municipal building. He was a patrol officer for several years. And then in 2010, he became a, darn it, sorry, my PowerPoint's messing up already. In 2010, he became Detective Adam Price, or Agent Adam Price, when he went down to the burn unit, became an undercover drug agent. He did that for a couple years. That gave him a wealth of knowledge and an experience that very few in our agency actually get to do. But he got to work throughout the county and work with key federal agencies. Then he came back up here and was a traditional detective for a few years, and really excelled at that. As you can see, he obtained certifications to become a master criminal investigator and a master evidence technician. So I had the pleasure of getting to know Adam when he first got hired, that youthful picture there, and when I was one of his FTOs. He was hired along with Sergeant Josh Jenkins and Lieutenant Jeff Robinson. They were all 3 kind of hired together, and I got the pleasure of FTO at them all. And I mean, it just shows how far we've come, because I remember having concerns and, trying to push Adam to do more. And we had our moments over the years as patrol officers that we won't talk about.
You're using the word pleasure there.
The pleasure, yes, the pleasure. So it was a rough time. It can be a stressful time getting through an FTO process, and sometimes you extend that period and go a little longer. But as you can see, Adam has excelled, and he became a detective, he became a FTO, and then he was promoted to Sergeant Adam Price in 2016. That's a picture of him and I with some random child that I don't recall the circumstances. I want to think it's Halloween, but yeah. So, but Adam, as a sergeant, worked as a patrol sergeant for several years, working nights, working days, I think too, and just obtaining those leadership skills and building up on them. And then in 2022, he became the detective sergeant, which is what his current position is. He also, during that time, was a crisis negotiator for the Butler County SWAT team, and he still serves in that position. So those, that really builds the communication skills and conflict management, those type of skills. And as I mentioned, he's currently a detective sergeant, which in that position, he manages our detectives, he manages our SROs. He's really kind of one of the people who know everything that's happening in your agency as he goes through all the reports and tries to assign those to the right investigators. A little bit about Adam. He has his Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice from the University of Cincinnati. He obtained a master's degree while working here at the University of the Cumberlands. He attended the Southern Police Institute, the Administrative Officers course. That's a graduate level course of a semester of college down at the University of Louisville. And he also recently did the FBI LEADA Trilogy Award, which is a series of courses in executive leadership to build on your leadership skills. So as you can see, he's very well-rounded, he has a vast array of experience, and he has demonstrated leadership skills, which is why I think he's going to do really well for OPD, and I'm looking very forward to this. So with that, for what we're going to do first, as you can see up here, I have the police lieutenant oath. That's the oath he's going to take. We take that very seriously, and I'll ask Law Director Connor to come up and administer that oath, and then afterwards we'll do the badge pinning ceremony.
Well, Alan, I've been known to botch this up, so bear with me. Too many words.
They took it off the screen.
Yeah,
They had
the
it
mayor's
over
gonna
there.
tell you about how I did that
We
with
had a
him.
copy.
No, I thought you were gonna leave it up on
took
the screen.
I think they're going to focus on you.
All right, all right. Well, then, raise your right hand, please.
Sir.
I, Alan Price,
I, Adam Price,
I'm sorry, solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States and State of Ohio,
of the United States and of the state of Ohio,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and that I will in all respects
and that I will in all respects
uphold and enforce
uphold and enforce
the provisions of the Charter
the provisions of the Charter
and the ordinances of the City of Oxford,
and the ordinances of the city of Oxford,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Police Lieutenant
of Police Lieutenant
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
I pledge to enforce
I pledge to enforce
the laws of the City of Oxford
the laws of the city of Oxford
and of the State of Ohio
and of the state of Ohio
impartially
impartially
and with integrity,
and with integrity,
never using
never using
my authority
my authority
for personal or private motives,
for personal or private motives,
but applying
but applying
the law fairly and equally
the law fairly and equally
to all persons
to all persons,
solely in the interests
solely in the interest
of the public peace,
of the public peace,
safety, and welfare,
safety, and welfare,
and I further pledge
and I further pledge
to so conduct myself
to so conduct myself
as to bring credit
as to bring credit
to the Police Division
to the police division
of the City of Oxford
of the city of Oxford
at all times.
at all times.
All right. Want this copy, right?
Congratulations, Lieutenant Price.
Congratulations.
Get used to that, Lieutenant.
So
Price.
Adam has several family members here tonight. His wife, Mariella, his daughters Victoria and Valentina, his parents, his mother-in-law, sister, and more extended family here. So we'll ask Mariella, Victoria, and Valentina to come up for the badge release. Okay. So Adam, when he was a patrol officer, he wore badge number 51. As a sergeant, he wore badge number 31. So as a lieutenant, he was insistent that he get badge 21. So that'll be his badge number, and I'll give it to you, and you guys can figure it out. So I'll see if Adam wants to talk and has any words. But before that, I kind of want to mention to all the family and police officers here, when we're done, I would like to get pictures out on the front. So don't bail out that door. We could all go out there. Current retired members are welcome to join. So Adam, would you like to say anything?
I'll keep it short. He's talked enough. Keep it on plan. Thank you for the opportunity. Look forward to working with the officers and the staff that work for the police department, growing the department, setting everything up for the future. I'd like to thank everyone, friends, family, community that came out, my community. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming tonight. It means a lot. So that's all I got. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
And we're going to take a moment for those who don't really want to sit through the whole rest of this meeting. And you can go out and either be part of or watch the taking of pictures. Thank you all for coming. Okay, our next item is appointments to boards and commissions.
I would like to move that all members of council are reappointed to their current boards and commissions until November of 2025.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. We'll move now to public comments. If you have comments on anything that is not on tonight's agenda, or if it's on the consent agenda, this is the time for that. And if you want to address council on any of those items, please come forward at this time, state your name and address for the record, and we'll give you 5 minutes. If you have a comment for something that's on the agenda, just wait until we get there, and we will recognize you at that time. I'm not seeing anybody jump up. Oh, there we do. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. You said name and address?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Takia Howard, and my home address, I suppose, is 1097 Archland Drive. I just moved there in Cincinnati, Ohio. But most of the daytime here, I spend my time at Miami University, where I've been an employee there for 7 years here. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you all here today. And I am here to ask for your support for the American Heart Association Go Red for Women campaign. The Go Red for Women campaign is a national initiative dedicated for increasing awareness about heart disease, which remains the #1 killer of women in the United States. Through advocacy, education, and community action, Go Red for Women empowers women to take control of their heart health. You may ask, so what, and what does it have to do with Oxford? I am asking Oxford today, and maybe more importantly for in the future, to get involved with raising this health issue awareness within our community here. Oxford can be involved, particularly important for Oxford to be involved is because communities like ours can play a crucial role in promoting public health. Local governments have power to drive change by supporting heart health, education, and providing resources to underserved populations in their communities. By becoming a leader in heart health awareness, Oxford can set an example for neighboring communities and make a lasting impression and impact on the well-being of its residents. And you still may say, so what, who are you? I, this year, am serving as a woman of impact in the Go Red for Women campaign. And the reason why I said yes, because my mother 3 years ago died very suddenly from a heart attack. And when she died, when she passed away, we had more questions than answers. And I may say, even today, we have more questions than answers. So I agreed to serve as a woman of impact this year, to raise awareness, and yes, to raise funds. But perhaps more importantly, is so other women, other people in our lives will not have to pass away early to prevent, but also so folks don't have to have more answers than questions like myself. So this year, the campaign ends on April the 10th. But every year, this is a campaign in our region. The American Heart Association of Cincinnati is very excited because we have not tapped Oxford. And I think this community, because of the community connections and the pride and the community engagement, has a great opportunity to partner and support and engage and raise awareness around women's heart health, which is still the #1 killer of women. It's the silent killer, right? And so many things in women's health impact the likelihood or the possibility of heart attacks, and it's challenging with cardiovascular disease. And so would love to partner with Oxford and Miami University to launch this great opportunity next year and have Oxford go red. So that's an invitation and a request.
Thank you very much. It's a very important message. Appreciate it. Hi, come on up. Welcome.
Sarah Meany, 1329 Dana Drive. If this is not the time for this, I'll go sit back down and talk later. But I just wanted to talk about how excited I am about the trail system.
You can wait until, yeah.
This is my first council meeting. I'm like,
No, that's okay. It'll come up quickly.
okay, I'll go.
And you can talk on the first one, so. Yeah, anybody here to talk about the trail, wait until that comes up. Anyone else? Okay, thank you very much. We will move then to the consent agenda, and I would entertain a motion to approve it.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any items to be removed? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Consent agenda is approved. We'll move to resolutions. You can read the first one.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to apply for an Interact for Public Health Policy Grant for a 3-year eviction diversion and housing stability program for $90,000 and a local match of $30,000 in year 1 with a 4% increase in each following year.
Okay, thank you very much. And Jessica? Oh, first I need a motion to approve it.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Hi, Jessica.
Good evening, councilors. Thank you. For several months, the Housing Advisory Commission has been working on how to increase housing stability in our community and help with eviction diversion. And Interact for Health has released a local policy grant to advocate for local policy and advocacy efforts on addressing social, economic, and environmental factors. Grants range from $75,000 to $250,000, and they can be for 18 to 36 months. And they anticipate giving away $700,000 this year. Applications are due April 4th. I had a conversation with Interact for Health, and I asked if a housing stability program and policy updates were in line with the intention of the grant, and they agreed that they were wholeheartedly in line. And so we would like to apply together with Talawanda Oxford Pantry and Social Services, otherwise known as TOPS, and Housing Opportunities Made Equal, which is called HOME, for an eviction diversion and housing stability program. It would be a 3-year program. We would apply for $90,000. The city would match $30,000, and then each year we would add a 4% increase to that. The city would be responsible for policy changes, code enforcement, and serve as the fiscal agent. The city role would be to research and evaluate housing policy changes. We're currently doing this and working to identify gaps. When we find gaps, our work will then be to update and pass legislation to increase housing stability. Secondly, we will continue to fund our eviction diversion programs that we're already doing and increase and improve our code enforcement. The nonprofit role, which will be TOPS and HOME, will be to hire, and we'll pass the funds through to them. TOPS will hire a housing stability staff role to help people understand their rights and walk them through how to get assistance. TOPS will manage a legal assistance fund for qualifying residents and partner with a housing rights lawyer to assist residents who may be experiencing illegal practices. And HOME will provide 2 education campaigns a year. These programs will educate about tenant rights and assist with eviction diversion efforts. The target audience will be our low-income residents and student renter populations. Housing Advisory Commission has reviewed this program and sent a recommendation to council at their March 6th meeting, and I would welcome any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address this resolution? Okay, thank you very much. Counselors, any questions or discussion?
This
Go
is
ahead.
awesome.
Awesome, okay. Mike?
Really good. There's been a lot of discussion with the Student Community Relations Commission about tenant rights amongst the student population, so we thought this would also fill that gap too, so.
Okay.
Just a thank you to Jessica and the staff who worked on this for their creativity and progressive mindset around this.
It's absolutely a great thing, and I know that people in OSH will be interested in that as well and supportive of it. Okay, all those in favor of this resolution indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted, and we'll move to the second.
A resolution to adopt a Title VI plan to demonstrate the City of Oxford's commitment to the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and our intention to foster an inclusive and diverse community, ensuring that all residents have fair and equal access to city programs and services, and complying with all federal civil rights regulations.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
It is moved and seconded. Jessica?
Hello again.
Thank you.
We have been in compliance with the Title VI plan in our policies and practices, but our language is very spread out. It's in our Human Resources Handbook, it's in our bid policies, it's in our Civil Rights Commission. And so one of the best practices in this area is to combine it into one plan, and so that is what we have done. And so we brought it into one plan, and so it allows for complaint procedures, which is done through our CRC. It allows for data collection and analysis, which is kind of a self-assessment of your accessibility and your facilities and your outreach to the public. It allows for staff training on diversity and inclusion, which we do. It provides for oversight and implementation. And then it allows for public outreach and engagement. And so we recommend adoption of this kind of unified plan in its language, and we will continue to work with the CRC in implementing these procedures throughout the city.
Super. Thank you very much. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address this one? Kathy, welcome.
Hi, I'm Kathy Brinkman, 404 Emerald Woods Drive, Oxford. When I read the agenda for this meeting last night and saw this resolution, I knew that I would be attending in support of it. At a time when the State Department is deporting immigrants in defiance of a federal judge's orders, at a time when the executive branch is ordering the detention of a legal permanent resident without resident evidence of a crime or ties to terrorism because they object to what he's saying, at a time when Arlington National Cemetery in the Department of Defense and many other federal websites are removing the stories and photos of women, people of color, and Native Americans and many others, at a time when a 6th grade school teacher in Idaho is in danger of losing her job unless she removes a sign from her classroom stating everyone is welcome here, at a time when Congress is considering a bill named the SAVE Act that would result in significant voter suppression of people of color, women, the elderly, the disabled, the poor, and many others, I'm proud to be a resident of a city that is looking at reaffirming their civil rights policies. To those who may say that this resolution is symbolic, I remember the times that I marched in the 1960s and 1970s in opposition to a war and in support of women's rights. Little did I know that I would be marching for these rights again in my 70s. Was my action symbolic? Yes, and it made a difference. People across the country stood up and it mattered, and it changed things in our country. In November 2024, after it was clear that the president that we now have had won, the 46th president said, "Giving up is unforgivable." I agree, and I applaud council for considering this resolution and hope that you vote unanimously in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else who would like to address council on this resolution? Okay, thank you very much. Councilors, any comments? Jason?
It's insane that we have to restate the values of progressiveness from 1964. But this is the state that we're in right now, and I'm glad we're fighting the good fight.
Well, and I appreciate, what a good bit of this is about ways for the public to hold us accountable if we don't uphold the values. That it's very clear that there are procedures that if you feel like your government is not respecting your rights, that, we are accountable according to the law. And I think that's really important. So, thank you.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I don't know if it was exactly a year ago, but when our now president, but then was not yet president, was talking about immigrants poisoning the blood of the country. And I said, talking about people like me, my family, and a lot of people in this community, I said that come November, we would have an opportunity to decide what kind of country we wanted to be. And the country decided. But we as a city also get to decide what kind of city we want to be. And I thank you for bringing this forward. And I thank you for your words, Kathy.
I think in a time when stories about the Navajo code talkers and pictures of the Enola Gay are taken down, it's very important to reaffirm what we believe in this community. So I'm very supportive of this particular resolution. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor of the resolution indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimously approved. Thank you very much. You can read the third.
A resolution making an appointment to the Butler County 911 Program Review Committee.
Okay, and is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Doug?
Thank you. The city managers of the 6 cities in Butler County met recently to discuss the composition of the 911 Program Review Committee. This committee was established in October 23 and replaced the 911 Planning Committee. So this new committee, this 911 Program Review Committee, requires that one member of the 6-member board shall be a member of the legislative authority of a municipal corporation in the county selected by the majority of the legislative authorities of municipal corporations in the county pursuant to resolutions they adopt. So previously, I, as the Chief Executive Officer of Oxford, served on the 911 Planning Committee, and we rotated that among ourselves and Fairfield and Middletown. So we met to discuss the new composition and decided that we would recommend that the mayor of each of these cities be appointed to this position, and the rotation would be among the 5 cities. The city of Hamilton is already on the board, on the committee, as the largest community in Butler County. So we agreed to rotate it amongst the remaining 5 cities, with the city manager serving as an alternate if the mayor cannot make it. So before you tonight is a resolution to make that appointment. And if it's adopted by Oxford, I would hope that it will be adopted by the other cities, and we'll submit it to the county executive. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Okay. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address this resolution? Okay. Councilors, have any questions? Or
I just have a question. There was a whereas in there. The third whereas talks about the Chestnut Street Multimodal Station. and it didn't seem to flow with the rest of the ordinance. Is that relevant to this, or is that
No, where's that
language-
at?
At least the electronic version,
I don't see it in my printed one.
okay.
It's in the third whereas.
It says, whereas the Chestnut Street Multimodal Station.
Nope,
shared
that
service
shouldn't be
agreement-
there, sorry.
So when we get to the stage, I'll make a motion that
Yep.
we strike that whereas,
Thank
okay.
you. I'm glad somebody read it.
I was like, are they meeting in the multimodal station? I was trying to figure out what the connection was. Thank you.
No.
Thank you. Okay, is there any further discussion? All right, would you like to make a motion, please?
Yeah, so I move adoption, while
We've already
striking.
had a-
Okay, I couldn't remember, while striking the third whereas.
Okay, so there's a motion on the table to strike the third whereas. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is stricken. And now we're back to the main motion. Are there any further comments or questions? All those in favor of the resolution indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. And now we'll move to the next resolution.
A resolution designating public depositories and extending the deposit of active public funds for a one-year period commencing April 6, 2025.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Hello,
Good evening,
Heidi.
Mayor and councilors. The one-year extension will provide us with the necessary time to continue monitoring the additional interest that we've earned by opening the sweep account, and will also allow us to conduct a more comprehensive review of the entire banking depository process. Given the time constraints of the current contract's expiration, this extension ensures that we can thoroughly assess all details and processes involved.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the resolution? Okay, councilors have any questions or comments? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted, and we'll move to the last resolution.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to submit a grant application to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources for up to $52,000 to increase and strengthen Oxford's tree canopy by removing and replacing Callery pear trees in the uptown area.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mike?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Soon with the warmer weather, you'll see the city's Callery pear trees in the uptown districts blooming. We discussed this last fall with preparation of the budget, and council appropriated monies to begin a phased program to remove the Callery pears and replace them with more appropriate shade trees. Since that time, Rena Murphy from Ms. Green's office has found a grant opportunity with no local match required, so this is very advantageous to us. It's a $52,000 grant that we plan to ask for. It exceeds the $50,000 threshold, so we need your approval to apply for this. If awarded, we would remove 40 of the Callery pears later this fall and then replant immediately thereafter. So this is more advantageous for us. We would rather not cut and plant in the spring. We'd rather wait till fall when it's more conducive to planting, and ask for your approval to apply.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address this resolution? Okay. These pear trees are non-native, noxious, and spread like crazy throughout the countryside. I'm really glad to see us taking this move.
And whoever had they were deemed okay back when they were planted 30, 20 years ago, and we know
Yes,
better now.
They will not spread.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
they
so.
will.
Nature finds a way.
They do. So does anyone have any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Really glad to see that one pass. All right, now we'll move to ordinances. We don't have any on first reading, but we do have a few on second reading, and so you can read the first one.
An ordinance to appropriate for public use all right, title, and interest in certain parcel of property located on or near Oxford Riley Road for the purpose of acquiring permanent and temporary rights-of-way to construct Oxford Area Trail System Phase 5 in the city of Oxford, Ohio.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mike?
So just a quick recap on this. This is a critical link for the Oaks Trail system. It connects Phase 3 with Phase 4. It connects the high school with the middle school, and it also connects with a northern connector up to the Butler County RTA, the city sidewalk network, and a planned Amtrak rail station.
Okay.
Council passed the resolution on February 18th, giving notice of intent to appropriate property. We had first reading of an ordinance on March 4th, and we have second reading tonight. For this type of legislation, just a reminder, we need 6 votes in the affirmative to proceed with the process. If you choose to proceed tonight, the law director will continue to meet with the 2 property owners that we have not settled with, and we will continue negotiations and try to reach an agreement. But we need to stay on schedule. We have $3 million, over $3 million in OKI grants that are crucial to help fund this project, and if we do not proceed, those will become in jeopardy. So we ask for your approval tonight.
Okay.
I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Okay, now, if anybody would like to address this ordinance, this would be the time. Come on forward, and then you can give us your name and where you live, and we'll give you 5 minutes. So thank you very much. You were very patient, and I appreciate it.
Hello again.
We're a pretty friendly group overall.
Sarah Meany, 1329 Dana Drive. I am just really excited about the OAT system. So the trail is going to go right behind my house, which means I need to put some curtains in the back, but that's okay. I'm ready to make the sacrifice. Having my kids being able to connect in with the whole community and kind of safely get out of our neighborhood is really important to me. They're like hitting that perfect age, right, like 9 and 11 to just off you go. Like this summer, goodbye. I don't want to see you anymore. And they need a safe way to get around the town. So the trail that was put in recently, getting us to the middle school and then connecting us in with the park, it's just like a dream living in my neighborhood. So having that, especially just the practical implications of them getting from the high school into the middle school and back on a trail. Sometimes I'm like, can we just throw a road in there? That's just because I'm selfish. But I would love, I'm just really excited. Every time I look at the map, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's almost here. And I get really excited. So I'm just excited to see how that's going to help my kids connect in with the rest of their friends who don't live in our neighborhood.
Super. Thank you very much. Again, this ordinance is, as she stated, is for the property that is owned by Mr. Redpath next to 732. Hi, welcome.
Hello, my name is Genevieve O'Malley Knight, and I live at 527 Sandra Drive, which is also in Southern Knolls, near Sarah. I have some similar comments to her. I'm afraid not. I'm on the wrong side of the street to be able to have backyard access. But we have been excited for a long time to have the trail connect the middle school to the high school. My oldest, who's here today, is a first-year high school student, so we're not sure it's going to get there in time. But I've got a younger kid in 4th grade, and we're really looking forward to. Right now, the areas of the trails are great for recreation, and we love walking our dog there and enjoying all the trails. And the park connector from our neighborhood to the park helps us get to Grandma's house off-road and safer. And that's a great, but the idea is to be a multi-purpose trail. And when this connects to the high school, it's going to be so great for commuting. We are getting sick already of getting caught in that car line every day. And it's an extra, with no buses, it's an extra burden to get there and back. And then again for extracurriculars and drama club. We're so excited for our kids to build that independence, that transportation independence, but disconnected from the vehicles safely on this trail. I'm just gonna look at the notes I wrote down, make sure I said all the things. Yeah, we've been looking forward to this for a long time, and I wanna thank council for your support over the years of this great trail, this great amenity we're growing here in Oxford. And we're so excited for this piece of it and the final completion of the circle.
Super.
Thank
You very much for your comments. Welcome.
Megan Kuykendall, 1304 Dana Drive.
I know that.
Sorry. But yes, also commenting on the trail and the growing excitement as it has expanded into different areas and neighborhoods, and again, similarly aged children, 4th and 6th grade, and really thinking about the possibilities that this means for our family. We have chosen to be a one-car family with living and working in the same town, which we know is a real privilege to be able to do that, and having, as Genevieve mentioned, like this trail not just for the recreation and the exercise and the appreciation of nature and all of the not just physical but mental health benefits that provides, adding the transportation aspect that this new piece of the trail adds is just such a huge value to our community. And I realize that there are lots of property owners affected by this, and I hope that they will see the value that it provides to the community. Certainly the very specific monetary values that typically property values go up when we have some of those kind of trail systems in place. But again, thinking about what that means for the overall health and well-being of our community, and again, the commute and transportation piece. And I also want to highlight that it really helps us have opportunities to travel and to connect different neighborhoods and different areas that currently feel very separated from each other in terms of town. And while Oxford is a small town, it is really difficult to get to some of those areas if you're on one side of town or another side, thinking about some of the busier roads, some drivers that we often have in town that are unfamiliar with four-way stops and where there is a four-way stop and where there isn't a four-way stop, and just thinking about all of the stuff that I have to go through as a parent when I'm sending my kids places, and having those trails as an option. Drivers are more aware of those trails. The options are safer to have those kind of identified paths, similar to what happened with some of the bike lanes and those kinds of things that we also utilize really regularly as a family. Because again, with the one-car thing, we also use bikes to get around town. And I just really want to thank you all, as well as share some public thanks to those property owners who are going to be directly affected by especially the construction piece. No one loves to have construction on their property, and I just want to extend that gratitude to those folks on behalf of all of the folks in our community that will be able to enjoy the trail for many years to come.
Thank you very much, Megan. Is there anyone else who would like to address? Okay. Welcome.
So my name is Paul Reedy. I live at 618 David Drive. I'm a dad, 5 kids, cyclist, and an exercise physiologist. I'm also the founder of the Oxford Area Cycling Group or Club, which is about 150 cyclists that are somewhat active. I also and it facilitates cycling events in the community. I also advise MU Student Bike Club and as well the Triathlete Club for the Miami University students. I have children in elementary, middle, and I will have children in elementary, middle, and high school at the same time. We're, again, a one-car family. I bike everywhere. As you can see, I'm still in my bike shoes. And so given the unpredictability of Tonawanda school transportation, it's a benefit, would be a benefit to my family, obviously many others, having this route that provides active transportation opportunities for students, which is essentially important because we know that children and students are becoming increasingly sedentary. The Physical Activity Alliance, the nation's largest national coalition dedicated to advancing regular participation in physical activity, has released a 2024 report card on students, and they gave physical activity for students a grade of D-, essentially, with just 20 to 28% of children getting the recommended daily hour of physical activity. And especially those older kids, the 6 to 17-year-olds, they typically taper off as they get older. They become less active. And so middle school, high school connections really enables those students who are really only getting 20%. Only 20% of students are actually hitting their physical activity needs and targets. And so enabling this, I could go on, I guess, forever as an exercise physiology professor, telling you the benefits of physical activity and the extreme decrements of physical inactivity. But I think these benefits of physical activity are realized by a lot of environmental and infrastructural changes that you've started to build with this Oats Trail, and I commend you for that. Especially the strategic route placement that would get kids in active transportation, provide them with more opportunities to be active, to see these health benefits realized to themselves and then through their future generations as well as they develop, families. And additionally, as an organizer and supporter of physical activity and cycling, I found there's a large barrier in designing routes for people in the city. We had a pedal professor event where I tried to get students who've never ridden bikes before and tried to find routes for them that they could do, because half the hills they can't even make it up without stopping. And so these Oats Trail is well designed to basically provide routes that are safe, routes that aren't too hilly, so we can get people active to start to get out there and to be more comfortable with that. And also provides opportunities to escape the city. If you want to explore the beautiful roads around Oxford, there's not a lot of great ways, as has been mentioned before, without having to go on busy roads. And not everyone's as comfortable as me with city traffic. So again, I would encourage your continued support and progress on this Oats Trail.
Super. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay. John.
I'm John Ralnowski, 3 Peabody Drive. I've been working on the trail, been involved since around 2000, 2001, before I got into the city. I am absolutely in favor of this. I see it as improving the quality of life for all the Oxford residents. And, just to repeat what other people said, that, it allows the kids to get to the school safely or other destinations. It's going to help reduce the carbon footprint if those trips are, car trips are replaced by people walking or cycling to their destination. And, I've enjoyed all the segments that have been completed. And I'm really looking forward to being able to go all the way around town once this is finished.
Super.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, John. Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to address? Okay. Welcome.
Hello, I'm Jim Vinch. I live at 85 Lantern Ridge Drive in Oxford. I moved to Oxford about 1.5 years ago from the bustling city, the suburbs of Washington, D.C., where we were inundated with urban sprawl. And it was a great place to have a career, but not such a great place to live and raise a family. And we purposely chose Oxford for the kinds of amenities that the city offers and its sense of community. One of the things that drew me here is the bike trail. I'm an avid cyclist, and I want to see the bike trail completed in the worst way. But I also understand the sensitivity of using eminent domain as a tool. Right? You want to be very careful and thoughtful when you use eminent domain. You don't want to you want to make sure that it's in the public interest, first of all. And I think we've already determined as a council that this bike trail is in the public interest. We've spent years considering it and funding it and working on it and completing portions of it. And so, as it sits right now, I think there's about 2/3 of the trail that's completed. There's 1/3 that's left. And I don't think anyone could argue that leaving the bike trail only 2/3 completed, that would never be in the public interest, right? To waste that investment. We spent millions of dollars on the trail as it is. To not complete it is not in the public interest. And so I just want to encourage us to complete the trail, but to be sensitive of the use of eminent domain and to treat the landowners fairly when we're negotiating these conservation easements.
Super.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to address this ordinance? Okay, thank you all for your comments, and we appreciate them. We also appreciate the comments that come online, which we did get some on this. Any discussion or comment from council?
I would like to thank everyone who's come out today. I think that they've captured very nicely the purpose behind the trail. I'll leave it to the experts to talk about the technicalities of it or the Ohio Revised Code, but I just want to talk about some kind of leading images that I've always thought about when we've been promoting this trail, which is a multi-use facility, and it's the image of moms in strollers pushing kids along Care Road, a road that has no sidewalk and for which there's unlikely to be one in the future. Yet we have neighborhoods in our community for which if you don't have a car and you're pushing a baby in a stroller, you have to take your life into your hands on a roadway that was not designed for you. I think about the high school, which is in a beautiful facility but was placed at such a location that the quickest line from point A to point B to town is along the railroad right away. And we know that right from the very beginning, high school students have used the railroad tracks to get into town. And we're very, very lucky nothing bad has happened. But this trail, those are just two images in addition to all the images that folks have said about the travel to the schools, the travel to the high school, the travel from neighborhoods before, the commuting. I appreciate the recreational value of the trail. I use it for that purpose too. But when I think about what we're serving, it's a critical transportation need for portions of our community that are poorly connected and are unlikely to have road connection. But this provides a connection between Care Road and the high school and to Main Street that is essential for our community to be connected and safe. So thank you to everybody for expressing even better than I could the why behind the trail.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Are you ready to vote? As was mentioned before, we need 6 affirmative votes for this to pass.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. French?
Yes.
Mr. Bracken?
Yes.
Mr. Prithridge?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Snavely?
Yes. This ordinance is adopted. Thank you very much. We'll move to the second one. You can read it when you're ready.
An ordinance to appropriate for public use all right, title, and interest in a certain parcel of property located on or near Gardenia Drive for the purpose of acquiring permanent and temporary rights of way to construct the Oxford Area Trail System Phase 5 in the city of Oxford, Ohio.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Michael?
This is the final piece of the puzzle that we need. Once we negotiate this and get this easement, we'll be able to bid the project and begin construction. So, no other changes from first reading.
Okay, and you will be negotiating with the property owners even after this is?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone from the public who wants to address this portion? We take all of your comments about the trail. We remember those, so. Mr. Shoker, welcome.
Chris Shoker, Oxford, Ohio, Stillwater Road. So we did have another meeting last Wednesday with the team on this particular portion of the trail. And I felt that we made significant progress. I was hoping we could kind of possibly have some things wrapped up before today. Apparently, Chris, you're expecting you sent a document out to our attorney.
Well, if I may.
Yes.
I intended to reach out to your a lawyer today, just things got in the way. I expect that we'll talk tomorrow afternoon or Thursday.
Okay.
And I think that we've made some progress and I'm hopeful.
Okay. Yeah, I was just
which is very
yesterday-
much appreciated.
Yesterday, I kind of reached out to Jessica saying, hey, do we have anything, writing that I could look at yet, but team it too. So,
Okay.
Again, both Laura and I are really in favor of this. We realize the benefit to the community. It's just we want to make sure that it doesn't prohibit us from adding to the community in the future as well. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
We appreciate it. We appreciate your cooperation and willingness to negotiate and get it resolved. Is there anyone else who would like to address this ordinance? Okay. You may call the roll. Oh, wait, do we have any further discussion with council? Okay, you can call the roll.
Ms. French?
Yes.
Mr. Prithridge?
Yes.
Mr. Bracken?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Mayor Snavely?
Yes. Gaining 6 votes, this ordinance is also adopted. Now we move to number 3. You can read it.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into an easement agreement with Cobblestone Community Church Incorporated for the purpose of an easement for the construction of the Oxford Area Trail System Phase 5.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mike?
This ordinance and the following 5 memorialize agreements that are already in place. So these will, once passed, be memorialized easements in the table of special ordinances in our codified ordinance book. So no other changes from first reading.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address this ordinance? Counselors have any comments or questions?
Just reiterate my blanket thank you for all the people who have been involved in this process in its various guises, for talking to the city and trying to find a mutually beneficial resolution. So I really appreciate that.
Okay, call the roll.
Mr. Prithridge?
Yes.
Mr. Bracken?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. French?
Yes.
Mayor Snavely?
Yes. Ordinance is adopted. We'll move to number 4, which you can read when you're ready.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into an easement agreement with South Farm Development Incorporated for the purpose of an easement for the construction of the Oxford Area Trail System Phase 5.
Okay, and is there a motion to adopt this one?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mike?
No changes from first reading.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address this ordinance? Okay, thank you very much. Counselors, any comments or questions? You may call the roll.
Mr. Bracken?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. French?
Yes.
Mr. Prithridge?
Yes.
Mayor Snavely?
Yes. Ordinance is adopted. We'll move to number 5.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into an easement agreement with South Farm Owners Association Incorporated for the purpose of of easements for the construction of the Oxford Area Trail System Phase 5.
Okay, it has, I need a motion to adopt it.
So moved.
And a second. Thank you very much. Mike?
No changes.
Okay. And is there anyone from the public who would like to address this ordinance? You can just see us moving around the city, can't you? Okay. Any discussion by council? You may call the roll.
Mr. Bracken?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. French?
Yes.
Mr. Prithridge?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Snavely?
Yes. This ordinance is adopted, and we go to number 6.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into an easement agreement with HPCT Properties Incorporated for the purpose of easements for the construction of the Oxford Area Trail System Phase 5.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Michael?
No changes.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address this ordinance? Okay, thank you very much. Counselors, any comments or questions? You may call the roll.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. French?
Yes.
Mr. Prithridge?
Yes.
Mr. Bracken?
Yes.
Mayor Snavely?
Yes, and this ordinance is adopted. And we'll move to number 7, which will sound very similar to the last few.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into an easement agreement with Abraham A. and Yulin M. Karunga Family Trust for the purpose of an easement for the construction of the Oxford Area Trail System Phase 5.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Ordinance? Thank you. And Michael?
No changes.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address this one? Okay, thank you. Counselors, any comments or questions? I want to reiterate something Dave said, and that's thanks to so many people who have been cooperative and negotiated in good faith and come up with these agreements that will make the Oxford Area Trail System Phase 5 come into reality. So we're very appreciative. You may call the roll.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. French?
Yes.
Mr. Bracken?
Yes.
Mr. Prithridge?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Snavely?
Yes, and this ordinance is adopted, and that concludes all the easements, I believe.
No, we
Oh, we've got one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, CSX, they're important.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Read that one, yeah.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into an easement agreement with CSX Transportation Incorporated for the purpose of an easement for the construction of the Oxford Area Trail System Phase 5.
Okay, is there a motion for this one?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Michael?
No changes.
Okay. And is there anyone from the public who would like to address this one? Okay, thank you very much. Counselors have any comments or questions?
I guess just I want to add a big picture value here, and if you read our comprehensive plan, I mean, this is a community that's always been a community that people have used multiple modes to get around. It's a college town. You know, I think our planning for the last number of decades is focused primarily on automobiles, and we've developed a really great automobile network to serve those people who drive. But I believe the majority of our residents are, I mean, if you think about the students, are relying on a variety of modes to get around. And so all of these efforts that we put in, the efforts, the grant funding, it's not just for fun. It's to serve what the people tell us in the comprehensive plan they want to see, and it serves the transportation realities of how people get around and want to get around in our community. It's not easy to change a transportation system and build the connections where they don't exist before, and for that I want to thank everybody involved in that. From the planners of the trail, for which we had folks here from the very beginning, like John Rolanowski, who gave us the idea, from the people who built it into our comprehensive plan, to the grant writing that people have done on the different phases of the trail, to the engineering staff who's engineered it, the planners, the consulting planners, the people who come out to talk about it, and the property owners on who it touches. It's just a really huge transformation for our community that will provide so many benefits, and so it's just the arc of progress is moving towards the place I think Oxford has always wanted to be, and we're just catching up with our infrastructure to make it that way. So it's going to be a really exciting set of years with the Amtrak, with the multi-use trail system. So I just want to thank all who have been involved in helping us get here.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to address it? Okay, call the roll.
Ms. French?
Yes.
Mr. Prithridge?
Yes.
Mr. Bracken?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Mayor Snavely?
Yes. This ordinance is adopted. And now you can read the last ordinance.
An ordinance repealing Oxford Codified Ordinance Section 12712 entitled Maximum Age for Original Appointment to the Police Department, and adopting new Oxford Codified Ordinance Section 12712 entitled Maximum Age for Original Appointment to the Police Department as a Police Officer.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
So moved.
I'm sorry. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Thank you very much. JJ?
No changes from the first reading. This simply eliminates the maximum age, which is currently set at 35. So,
Okay.
you know, we have to encourage any of you to apply.
Okay. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address this ordinance? Okay, thank you very much. Any council comments or questions?
I just wanted to say, because we did really have public comment about the appointment of Lieutenant Adam Price. You know, this plus all this stuff, that we have an incredible police department that's governed by forward-looking people who are in policing, from my estimation, for all the right reasons. And so these little things all add up to helping keep our police department really just something of great pride for the city of Oxford. So thank you.
Is there any other discussion or comments? All right.
Mr. Prithridge?
Yes.
Mr. Bracken?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Ms. French?
Yes.
Mayor Snavely?
Yes, and this ordinance is also adopted. At this time, we'll move to announcements and communications, and we'll begin with City Manager Elliott.
Thank you. I just have a few comments on some bills of interest in the Ohio legislature. First one being the short-term rentals. I submitted written testimony on behalf of the city to the Ohio Senate Local Government Committee in opposition to Senate Bill 104. This bill would limit the ability of local governments to regulate short-term rentals. As you know, the city began a registration requirement in 2019 for short-term rentals and began collecting the city's hotel and convention tax on short-term rentals in 2022. Proposed bill would limit the registration fee to $20 per property, and the fee may only be used to enforce the local government short-term rental regulations. Also, the bill would prohibit the use of zoning requirements to prohibit or limit short-term rental properties in areas that are zoned for residential use. This bill obviously preempts the city's home rule authority found in the Ohio Constitution, and I think it's an unnecessary intrusion into that authority. Another bill deals with the host communities and the excise tax on recreational marijuana. As you know, we have 2 marijuana dispensaries in the city, and we were expected to receive additional revenue from the 10% excise tax on adult use marijuana. There are 2 bills in the Ohio legislature seeking to amend this citizen-initiated statute language adopted by the voters in 2023 by a vote of 57.2% for and 42.8% against the legalization of adult use marijuana. The first bill, Senate Bill 56, originally changed the distribution of this excise tax, but it was amended with no change to the distribution. Now, this is a 10% excise tax, of which 36% is given to the host communities. It passed the Senate and was sent to the House. It was assigned to the House Judiciary Committee, and no hearing date has been set as of today. The other bill, House Bill 160, reduces the allocation to host communities to only 20%, and only for the duration of 5 years beginning with fiscal year 2026. It was introduced in the House in March 6th and has not received a committee assignment. You also may be aware that the governor's biennial budget proposal for fiscal years 26-27 removed host community allocations entirely, reallocating those funds to various state projects, including jail construction and construction of a law enforcement training facility. As of March 10th, Ohio's collected just over $37 million from the 10% marijuana excise tax. The Ohio State University Drug Enforcement and Policy Center in the Moritz College of Law has calculated that Ohio could collect around $62 million from the marijuana tax in fiscal year 2025, resulting in $22 million that could be allocated to the host community under the current statute. Dividing the $22 million by Ohio's 128 dispensaries, we estimate that each, and I quote, this is from their report that they did, dividing the $22 million by Ohio's 128 dispensaries, we estimate that each dispensary would generate approximately $75,000 in revenue for its host community in fiscal year 2025. Thus, if a host community hosts 2 dispensaries, they could expect around $350,000 in marijuana tax revenue for fiscal year 2025 alone. But actual revenues for each locality will vary depending on the sales conducted in the dispensary located in their jurisdiction. So rather than allocating it equally to all the dispensaries, it would be based on the sales of those dispensaries in the host communities. This revenue would be deposited in the general fund and can be used to support essential services like police, fire, and EMS, or capital projects. So I would urge the Ohio legislature and the governor to maintain the 36 distribution to host communities of the 10% adult use marijuana tax. So I'll follow that bill as well. And the last one I wanted to comment on is that there's a bill to modify the annexation laws that were introduced in the House. This bill was introduced in the House on February 18th. House Bill 113 was assigned to the House Local Government Committee. A hearing was held March 5th, and the 2 sponsors of the bill testified. A second hearing has not been scheduled. So the proposed bill requires an expedited annexation or a municipality-initiated annexation to serve the general good as determined by the Board of County Commissioners. It modifies various aspects of the expedited Type 2 annexation procedure, including the following. Requires the annexed territory to remain in the township only if the township provides services to the territory, reduces from 500 to 200 the maximum acreage of the territory proposed for the annexation, and it increases from 5% to 20% the amount of a contiguous boundary the municipal corporation must share with the territory proposed for annexation. So the current annexation law became effective in October 2001 and represented a compromise of the Ohio Municipal League and the Ohio Township Association. It provided for 3 expedited procedure. The City of Oxford has utilized expedited Type 2 procedure, whereby 100% of the property owners of the proposed annexed territory must sign the petition. As you know, the land remains in the township, and the county commissioners must approve the annexation if all legal requirements are met. House Bill 113 requires the county commissioners determine if the general good is served by the annexation. If not, the proposed annexation must be denied. I find that the general good is a subjective criteria and could be decided by political pressure. It goes against the property owner's desire to annex to the municipal corporation. So I hope that the Ohio House Local Government Committee does not approve this bill and open a Pandora's box regarding the Ohio annexation law, which has served the state, county, and municipalities well since its adoption in 2001. Since I've been here I started in 2008, we've had 14 annexations. 2 involved Miami property, and of course they don't pay property taxes. One was the Talawanda School District, and of course they do not pay property taxes either. The largest annexation was the Miami Heritage Tech Park and MU property in 2012 with just over 304 acres, and 5 with less than 2 acres. So, you know, I urge the Ohio House Local Government Committee to basically leave it as it is. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Michael?
A lot of discussion tonight about transportation issues, so a quick update on 4 items. One, congratulations again to Scott Otto, our city engineer. He obtained a $900,000 grant from OKI for EV fast chargers. So that money's being funneled through ODOT, so there's some extra strings to get that project going. They've approved our contract and bidding documents, so we can proceed with going out to bid now for that project. So that will yield 4 level 3 fast chargers at the surface lot at Main and Church, and 2 fast chargers at the municipal building.
Very nice.
This Friday, we will open bids for our street resurfacing project. And later this month at Dana Drive and 732 Oxford Riley Road, council's already approved a contract for traffic control signal, full control at that intersection. So the foundations are already poured, conduits are in. Our poles and mast arms are finally arriving. So it's been a long wait for those, but we'll see progress on that at the end of the month and in April.
Okay.
And then finally, our city engineer also has a grant to pay 90% of the cost for completing sidewalk improvements along South Locust Street. So along the Duke Energy substation, we'll be putting in stormwater conduits, a rapid flash beacon, a new sidewalk up to the north. And they'll also, in the same project, complete sidewalk at South Locust and Brookview Court. So there'll be new sidewalk there and also a flashing beacon for pedestrians as well. So a lot going on in transportation.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Chief?
I hate to bring this up, but this Thursday is that unofficial holiday that we don't condone, but of Green Beer Day. So just want to urge citizens to I think we've done a good job with ratcheting that back over the years and partnering with prevention and the university to make it less of an impact on services. However, we still take precautions and just want to urge people to be safe, to say that we have extra law enforcement officers working. We hold people over on their shifts. The highway patrol, you may see them in town to enforce traffic safety and look for OVIs. But the main thing is I hope anyone partaking is safe through the day and uses some common sense. So, thank you.
It is kind of amateur night, so please be careful and use good judgment.
And just if I could add, I think part of this day, this day doesn't always look much different than what we see at night. It's just that normal business is occurring.
Yeah.
And keep that in mind. There's normal business, there's school, and So it can be disruptive, but ask everybody to have some patience.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Heidi?
I just wanted to speak on something that's very dear to me, and Casey is no longer with the city of Oxford, so he was kind of doing the coordination, but I wanted to notify the public and council of a Oxford mobile blood drive on Monday, May 5th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is the second year that the city of Oxford has coordinated a blood drive in honor of Joe Newland, who passed away 2 years ago this April. Our former finance director selflessly donated hundreds of pints of blood over the course of his life. Allowing Oxford residents, coworkers, friends, and family to donate in honor of Joe and to continue his commitment to saving lives brings much joy to the employees of the city of Oxford, and especially the employees of the finance department, as we miss him very much.
Can you remind us of the day and time of that again?
Yes, I'm sorry, I talk fast when I get nervous. It's May 5th.
May 5th.
From 10 to 4.
And what's the location?
It's uptown Oxford.
Okay.
It's a mobile drive, so they do it at the park uptown.
Okay, wonderful.
And I encourage all the students to come and donate as well and do your part in saving lives.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Chief Dethridge. Okay, okay. Appreciate it. Sam?
I didn't have any legislation on tonight's agenda, but I did want to give a shout out to a couple young entrepreneurs that own and operate Ox Vegas Chicken. We have issues in alleys with solid waste, as you all know, and they are the first business owners that we have seen that have come up with a cooking oil containment device. And we're very excited about that because that is one of those things that results in spilling and mess, and so just hats off to them for finding a vendor that could keep things clean, and they have found out that it actually saves them labor and liability as well. So check it out if you like walking the alleys and seeing what's going on back there. So thanks to Tyler and Jackson for doing that.
They have dining on the alley too, so they're kind of vested in it being nice.
Can we spread that info to the other businesses?
Hi, Jessica.
Good evening. Just another update of work behind the scenes. And I just wanted to announce that TOPS has turned in their building permit application. This is a huge deal. It still needs to be reviewed by staff. It still needs to be reviewed by the building inspectors and all those things, but this is a huge step toward that $1.5 million from the county ARPA. And then just a reminder that our own local community, for our local ARPA, we have contributed $300,000 toward this project. So we are working closely with TOPS, trying to help them through this process, but by golly, we're going to try to get this done. So, and then secondly, also using our ARPA funds, we have a draft of our economic development plan. We have been reviewing it, and we'll be releasing it to the public for public comment for a period of time, welcoming feedback, some period of refinement, and then we hope to bring this to council in late spring for adoption after that period of refinement. So stay tuned. We'll be sending it out broadly, but we're pretty excited to be getting on this journey for the city as well. Thanks.
Thank you, Jessica. Heather?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay, Chris?
So, yeah, I want to make a couple comments. So in my time as law director, in some ways as a lawyer, I've never seen such activity, Ohio Municipal League, Ohio Municipal Attorneys Association. The advocacy that's going on because of the things that are going on in the State House, I haven't seen before. I don't know if I think Doug might echo that as well. It's really important. I mean, people don't have to get up and write or do anything, but there are opportunities in everyday life where they have an opportunity to share a point of view. And one of the things that's critical for communities like Oxford and all over, but particularly smaller communities, is when Columbus tends to get heavy-handed, it forgets there's a thing called home rule. And the power of the people who live in the communities that they live, who are elected by the citizens, should have the faith of the rest of the citizens in this state to be able to govern and lead the communities in which they live. Home rule is under attack in a far different way than it was before. And so I want to let you know that is being heard by multiple other groups. And I mean, I get daily emails on efforts to undertake what Doug's done with everything else. So I'll leave you with this. One of my dear friends, Jeff Lebowski, says, "This aggression will not stand, man."
Thank you, Chris. All right, Mike?
I just want to remind everybody of the Oxford Area Solutions for Housing meeting on Monday, the 24th at the Presbyterian Seminary. That comes with dinner, so if you're interested in helping our unhoused population, you are welcome. I will also say make good choices on Thursday, and let the chief know that some of my student employees who are in fraternities have let me know that their parties begin at midnight on Wednesday before the weather turns bad on Thursday. So make good choices.
Okay, thank you.
I'm probably going to say this every week or every 2 weeks until we get there, but Oxford Bee Festival and the Oats and Honey 5K, 10K will be on April 12th. So start crossing your fingers for good weather now, please. Should be a ton of fun. We're really looking forward to it. You will get a oat and honey bar when you cross the finish line, in addition to a finisher's medal for the 5K and 10K. And yeah, as an alumni, have fun on Thursday, but mostly be safe, and please don't make the police and firefighters' jobs harder than they already are. Thank you.
Thank you. Amber?
Thank you to everyone who came out to the municipal building art exhibit opening in conjunction with OCAC. We had a really great time, and thanks for staff for helping us out with that. And then speaking of the state legislature getting heavy-handed, I have with me right here you'll see the seal of the Ohio State Senate. It's a senatorial citation that I received back in 2020. And many other people at the university received it as well. And I'd like to read it. I'm pleased to extend to Amber Franklin my congratulations for your service to Miami University's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. You provided expertise, advice, and insights on DEI efforts across the university and all campuses following the outbreak of COVID-19. Furthermore, I commend you for seeking input and feedback, as well as advising and providing regular updates to the President's Executive Cabinet, the University Senate, and the broader Miami community. This is highly commendable and a great service to not only our university, but our community as a whole. Your dedication to the university is a justifiable source of pride and excellent reflection not only on you, but Miami University and the state of Ohio. President Crawford tasked you with 5 key tasks: dialogue and allyship, cultural consciousness, advocacy and partnerships, structural and resource support, and inclusion and accountability. You proudly carried out these tasks for the betterment of our community. Thus, it is with great pleasure that we commend you for your outstanding achievement and salute you as one of Ohio's finest young citizens. Very truly yours, William P. Coley II, State Senator, 4th Ohio Senate District. So tomorrow, I believe the House is going to vote to pass a sweeping anti-DEI bill. I hope that our governor will not sign it, but regardless of what happens, this I will not get rid of. That's it.
Thank you, Amber.
How far we have fallen in such a short time. And with that, I'll just say, keep up the good fight.
Thank you.
Well, and to build on Jason's comments, I mean, I think that these are kind of confusing times. I mean, I don't think you have to be a Democrat to wonder about the rule of law and the state of democracy, and whether our government is accountable to the people or not. I mean, it's not just in Washington, it's in Columbus. But if we talk about a good fight, like I am a person who teaches urban planning, I believe in the power of localities. And I think that if you have energies you want to invest in making the world better, our community remains a really great scale in which to do it in lots of different ways. And I've always said we put a lot of bandwidth, and I'm not trying to underestimate the power of the federal government to do good or ill, but what we do in our communities, what we try to do here, it's not that we're not making tough decisions, but we try to be scrupulously accountable with the money that we spend and following the laws and the processes. You know where we are, you know where we live. We're not going to hide behind anything. We're here, and if you have issues, you know where to find us and talk to us. You know where the microphone is. And we won't be perfect in what we do, but we'll try, and we're trying to be transparent in terms of guided by a long-range plan and make the best decisions we can in accordance with that. And that's just local government. I mean, what we have is Oxford's Area Solutions for Housing. We have ad hoc groups. We have churches. We have fraternal organizations. So if, Councilor Franklin has talked about the perils of doom scrolling, just as it was previously, if you're feeling like you want something positive, I guess what I'm just saying is the local scale really does matter. And if you have energies that you wanted to put at things and see results, whether they're traffic signals or resolutions, those things are not meaningless, and they really add up. So I appreciate all the folks who came out tonight to join us in that process and share their thoughts and their hopes and their concerns. Again, what we do in this government is not perfect, but it's not a bad model for the way the things ought to be somewhere elsewhere. So,
Thank you very much, David. There's so much negativity at the national level that it is refreshing at the local level to have some little bit of sanity. In a time when federal government is ignoring brazenly federal judges, in a time when they're telling people to apply for Social Security after they have removed half of the people, and it will take 2 to 3 months to get in to see it in person, and a lot of people can't afford or have a way to get themselves to the Social Security office. It appears in many ways that it's a way to break our system in every possible way. I'm very grateful for our local community and what we can do for ourselves here in our community. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.